Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's really late, and yeah, I was back and forth of whether or not I was going to do this video as late as it is. Um, but you know what? I just figured, hey, why not? Um, Consent. I talked a little bit about it in the last video, um, and you know, hey, everyone from Facebook, all my friends around the world. I hope you guys are having a really great night and a really great day if you're on the other side of the world. What's up, Tony? Nice to see you. Um, I touched upon the idea of consent, and there's a lot of things going on in my little private world that I can't fully share with all of you right now. But I do want to share some thoughts and some ideas that have really been coming up that are pretty profound, that we've realized are the power not only behind certain belief systems, worldviews, things that we're told is reality versus what we give permission to. I'm going to try to explain this as carefully as I can. Sometimes, a lot of times, we listen to people that have a lot of money. We listen to people that seem to have a very strong sounding board. They're given all kinds of platforms to speak what they want to say into the world and say this is the truth, this is reality. And they can sometimes spin it into making it seem palatable for the masses. But the thing is that the fruit of it always leaves the masses lost, less than, feeling hopeless, feeling dependent, feeling victimized, feeling like no matter what they do, they'll never get ahead. And furthermore, do you ever notice this? This does bother me on a personal level as who I am. Bothers me. You can create a really cool idea, maybe a really neat fashion look, maybe you've cut your hair a certain way, and it's just the way what you want to do to express yourself. And next thing you know, it becomes a trend. And there's someone that takes the idea that you have or the thought or the invention or anything like that. All of a sudden, you see someone who has a lot of influence behind them. They're the ones that prosper off of what you were just simply doing for yourself or coming up with something, an idea naturally that seemed to work in your life. And you're like, wait a second, how did they find out about that? And how is it that, like, I'm still here status quo and this jagoff is like making a crap ton of money off of what I do? But they're not giving me any acknowledgement of it. They will never even say that it was you. Why? Why do those things happen? I've been learning a lot the last few days. I don't know if I can fully go into what we've uncovered. What's up, Warren? But on a specific level. But I'm going to talk on a general level of what I have uncovered with some friends of mine. And I want to put this out in the most positive, empowering way possible for all of us. Because everyone on my Facebook, you guys matter to me. You guys are actually my friends. Even though, hi Warren, I miss you. Even though we don't see each other every day, and maybe we haven't seen each other for years in real life because of circumstance or whatnot. But it's really important for me to share this with you because no matter what, I'm always striving to figure out what we as individuals can do in our own lives, in our own minds, in our own creativity, in our own worlds, to make the world a better place, not to be used as energy for something bigger that always turns it into something negative. It always gets twists around. So this is going to be an empowering video for all of you, and for myself, to know, first of all, whenever you're inspired with a really great idea, or you're just in this space of really getting this really great idea or this really great thought, and sometimes you're around people that down you because maybe inside they down themselves, right? That's a tough situation. But even from this video, I hope that if you're right now around folks like that tear you down, well, I'm here to tell you to trust it, especially if it's really, really, it's your highest thought, like really trying to do something good. Trust it. But don't sell it out. Don't sell it out to a bigger person or a bigger, perceivably a bigger person. Maybe they have a bigger wallet than you. Maybe they tell you that they have a bigger marketing platform for you. You have it. You have it right inside you. This is important because it also comes, what I'm going to try to bridge the gap with this conversation, because it might seem a little strange in the moment, but what I want to bridge this conversation with is the idea of consenting to bigger powers. Now, I don't know about you, but I grew up in Pittsburgh. And growing up here, you felt very helpless. Hey, Cameron. We felt helpless and we felt defeated in our own personal voice and what we could do in our own lives. There was a certain energy growing up in Pittsburgh here that even if you wanted to do something really good or change something that you felt was like kind of negative in your neighborhood or wasn't right, like you felt something was wrong, and you thought, maybe I can fix this, maybe I can help change it. There was this energy of making people feel like you can't change anything, you just have to keep going along with it. And even when you knew something was wrong or it didn't feel right or the fruit of it was really detrimental to yourself and to your friends and the people in your community, you just went, well, this is the way it is. Who am I? Who are you? You're everything. Because you were given that vision to see something different in the first place. Do you see? But the second part is you have to believe that walking in faith, walking in those steps of what the vision was, not based on money, what you're going to get for money. It's not about that. It's about obviously seeing, hey Tiffy, obviously seeing that there's an issue in your neighborhood or in your community, and you have the courage to stand up and say, this is something that needs to change, or maybe I see something better. But there's so many different voices in the world that tell you that well, maybe you don't have enough money to do this, or you don't have enough power or influence over other people. Or even worse, if it's really good, you're going to get seriously attacked by the negative, because the negative loves to feed off of the good. I'm drinking some wine. I want you to understand this. This is going to sound really weird. Hey, Abby, it's going to sound really weird to some people. But the point in fact, if we really think about every time we had a really good idea, and all of a sudden we second guess ourselves, or all of a sudden we share that really good idea, maybe I should try this, maybe I should do this. All these people around you start and you think usually they're like cool people, but all of a sudden they start like downing you and like, well, who are you to do that? You don't have that kind of energy. You don't have that kind of power. Oh, you're dreaming. You're out in la la land. And yet, these same people will go out every single day and they'll spend all their money at Walmart. They'll turn on the news and listen to some random talking voice and say that that person has more power over me. They don't even know them. And quite frankly, if you listen to that person, your life is destroyed by it. Or maybe in your gut, you're feeling like there's something wrong with what you're doing, with what you're eating, but you're addicted to it. You love this certain food, but you know it's not good for you. When you go to yourself, maybe I should stop eating that. And everyone goes, no, don't stop eating it. Just keep doing what you do. But maybe you should go to a doctor who's going to make a ton of money off of prescribing you tons of drugs to not necessarily stop the inherent problem, which is the food that you're taking in, that your gut is telling you don't take in anymore because it's feeding something bad in your body. They're going, just take a whole bunch of drugs so you can keep eating the bad food, and maybe it'll like even you out. But then the doctor makes a ton of money off of prescribing you that. And you start losing your hair. And you start looking like shit. And you start feeling like you aren't who you were. And you get into this world of confusion. That's energy vampirism. And you're losing your money, and you're losing your life force, and you're losing all these things for it. Why do we do this? Consent. We consent to it. Consent. If there's one word in 2018 that I can only imagine is going to be like the most important word to talk about, it's the word consent. Because it's a word that not only reveals what we do subconsciously in so many different ways that we live, and so many things that we accept in this world that we know are never going to create really good fruit. But we do it anyway because we want to be socially accepted by others that also consent to the same BS. Or we don't think that we have the power within our own individual entity that it would change anything if we did not consent to the stuff that in our heart, in our minds, and our souls we know is wrong. That goes towards the banking system. That goes towards the sickness maintenance healthcare system. That goes through all kinds of things. Everything. At any given point in your life, I know whatever issues you've gone through, or everyone's going through all kinds of different things. There's different points in our lives that we go, that doesn't feel right. Everyone's telling me I need to go along with it, but it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel authentic. I feel lost. Do you ever work at a job where everyone's telling you, oh, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud you've gotten to this place. But you behind closed doors, you may be making a whole bunch of money. You may be getting a lot of accolades, or you may be able to pay the rent or whatever. But you feel like your soul's getting sucked. Your life force is getting sucked. But you don't think that your voice or your gut is truthful or trusting enough to go, I'm going to be okay if I don't consent to this. Maybe we feel like we're better in groups. So we join fraternities. We join clubs. We join Masonic lodges. We join network groups. Let's go back to the Masonic thing. For those of you that, I'm hoping that most of you have heard that word Masonic before. I'm sure all of you have. I hope so. They're in every single city. They're everywhere. What are they really about? What's really going on there? And why is it that there's always fraternities in colleges? What's that all about? And why is it that when you do join a fraternity or a sorority, all of a sudden you get these certain connections that automatically make it so much easier in your life to be able to make things happen? Going along with the herd, going along with the club, fitting in. I did a post earlier today. There was a person back in 2011 when I had the dream map up in Los Angeles. They wrote on their dream, and you have to understand the question in my art installation for the dream map project that I've been working on since 2010 was, what's your deepest heart's desire in your life? What's your deepest heart's desire? Forget everything that people are always programming you to become, to be accepted in this world. Forget all that. Or the survival mode that you can be in. Like, I just need to always do things for survival mode. Forget all that. Forget your poverty mentality of like, I don't feel like I have enough and I've got to do these things to fit in this world. Forget all that. What is your innate heart in your own personal conscience, your God-given, and it's okay if you don't believe in God. I do, because I've lived the other side way too much to not see it. When you're in a mode of listening to your real inherent gut, man, it's amazing the imagination that you can get. So the question was to these folks, people would come through the studio, what is your deepest heart's desire? This person wrote on their dream map, on their little dream, I want to fit in. To what? To what? Do you know how many conversations there are in the world with different circles of people? That if you want to fit into certain circles, you're done. You're done. Now, there are people in the world that have great circles. They have really cool people around them that are always inspiring them to be their best selves with no strings attached. And, it's really good. And that's beautiful. And, of course, if they write something, that's fantastic. But unfortunately, most people are involved with circles that limit their own individual best self. People that don't feel empowered for themselves, you know what they do? They tear everyone else around them down. Big time. Big time. So if you want to fit into that kind of conversation where most of the people that are around you are always tearing you down because they themselves have never allowed themselves to be lifted up, that's a very risky game. let's talk about groups. Let's talk about fraternities, all that stuff. Whenever you join a group, do you ever feel like, you know what's interesting about joining a group? They kind of get upset when an individual is speaking their truth about something that might not be so good. They squash that individual. And as long as the majority agrees to it, they go along with it. I'm trying to talk in small examples because I'm going to expose the bigger example in a minute. Think about, okay, so here's an example in my own life. Here's an example in my own life, because I haven't really joined many groups in my life, because I like to know everybody from all kinds of different gamuts, from all different kinds of places, individually. I like individuals. I like individuals, you know? And so I'm not much of a group person. But there was one point in my life in college where I went to Penn State, and I joined Lambda Sigma, and I became president of Lambda Sigma. And it was a co-ed community service fraternity / sorority. I mean, it was just for everybody, for like boys and girls. And our mission was to make a bunch of money by doing good things. We made care packages for our students. Like if parents wanted to give a care package to their kid during finals week, that's what we did. We facilitated that. We made a ton of money off of that, because every single, like, you'd be a terrible parent if you didn't want to give your kid a care package from Lambda Sigma. You know what I mean? So that was our breadwinner. Well, the purpose of the fraternity was to translate the money that we made from the care packages to doing different community service oriented projects. And we wanted to make sure that they were as good as possible. At least when I was president, that was the point. Like, to make sure it was like super solid. But you know what's interesting? There were always a few people in the group that loved, no matter what I put out there, they just wanted to dissent, because they wanted to feel power. And then the whole group would decide on the most retarded version of how to spend our money. It was always ended up being the lowest denominator of goodness. Because there were a few people that were very good at manipulating the situation out of what truly was good to, this is what might be cool. This is cooler. It's not really good, it's just cooler. When you join a group, you kind of lose your own voice. You lose your own conscience. It gets siphoned into the group. Your energy gets pulled into the group. Your energy gets pulled into the group. This is what I've learned in the last few days. I'm just going to knock it down because I don't want to waste too much time in this video. Just gonna say it. At the highest level, why we are so screwed up as a society is because we allow our own individual energy to get involved with tons of different kinds of groups that at the top of it, they're not looking out for you. They're not looking out for the benefit of humanity. They're looking out for themselves. There's a certain, if you don't like the word witchcraft, warlock, energy vampirism, there's a certain siphoning off of the human life force to make us think that we need to consent to different ideas that are completely opposite of what actually creates life. And anytime they do this, they always use it on fear. Or you're not going to be accepted, you're not doing the right thing. How can I explain this without sounding too weird for some of those that don't understand the esoteric part of it? There is esoteric part of it. There's an esoteric part of it. When no one can do anything to you without your consent. Nothing will happen to you. Nothing bad. Nothing bad. And nothing good will happen to you without your consent. You have to give it permission. That's one of the major laws of nature and of the God laws or whatever. You have to give permission. Now the tricky thing about deceitful entities and deceitful people that are high level involved in knowing how to manipulate people, they know that they don't have to tell you the full truth of what they're doing. They just have to advertise. They just have to market it. They just have to give you enough truth that it makes it sound good, positive. Oh, it's positive. But they're not telling you the full truth. But if you consent to it, regardless if you know the full truth or the marketed version of it, you've given that thing permission to do whatever its original intent was meant to do. Not what you understand to be, but what their understanding of what they want to do. It's important for us to understand that. Because behind all of these things that may sound scary at first, ultimately, you have the power. Ultimately, nothing can touch you, and nothing can mess with you unless you give it permission. That's a very powerful place to be. And you know, all of you that have met me in some way, shape, or form, in some part of the journey, you've always known there's always been something going on, you know, something that we're talking about, something that we're focused on, something we're like, yeah, we're going to do this, or no, we're not going to be about that. And that's the power. You don't have to have a ton of money. I have nothing. I used to have a lot. I have nothing. But there's still all kinds of good things happening all the time. And we're changing all kinds of things in the world. It's beautiful. It's happening because of the concept of consent versus non-consent. So I'm going to cut it short because I don't want to talk too long. And maybe I'll talk more about this later. But I just really felt, I don't know, it's Saturday night and I'm waiting for some friends to come back here. And, you know, I just want you to know, I can't tell you what's really going on, personally. But a lot of things are happening that are really good. And those of you, this is not for any of my friends, but those are the ones, the trolls that are watching, that are on the other side, that know who I am, that know that I'm onto them. You're done. You're done. Pack your bags. And for those of you that are in confusion and you're trying to figure out how to navigate this world, and you might be living in fear, you might have a lot of anxieties, there might be a lot of different things that don't make sense. just know how important it is. The concept of consent. Everything and anything needs your permission. And if you have a gut feeling about something, regardless of what your friends or what society or your teachers or the educate, don't trust those, don't trust that crap. They're paid by the other side. Sorry, it's true. Listen to your gut. If there's something that you want to get involved with, as insane as it may seem, you don't want to get part of the banking, don't be a part of the banking. Something tells you that you don't want to be on your iPhone anymore, get off of it. Get off of it. The only reason I'm still on my iPhone and I'm still on Facebook is to share this kind of stuff with you, and also share the events that I do at the studio. I love being off of my iPhone. It's fantastic. And if there's something in your own personal life that you go, what if I'm not going to get a job? Then you can do something on your own. You can be your own entrepreneur. You don't have to be a part of it. You can do anything in this world and be perfectly fine. You're not going to starve. You're not going to be, some people may turn against you because they don't get it, but you're going to be fine. If you're listening to your gut, you'll be fine. I promise. And all of a sudden, when you tune into your highest conscious of knowing what's right, all the amazing people are going to come into your life, and you're going to be just fine. And you're going to follow this amazing journey that maybe nobody else has ever done before. But you're creating your own space and your own life listening to those things. Does that make any sense? I'm saying this because there are people that know how to manipulate masses of people and their own energy into what they want to have happen. Look up a Masonic Lodge. They siphon the energy off of a lot of people. They take the ideas and the individual creativity from different people. They absorb it. And then they do these really weird things that they suck the life out of everyday people, and all of a sudden create a golden boy. Where this one person gets a whole bunch. And we aren't allowed to live abundantly based on our own ideas ourselves. Does that sound weird? Maybe to some of you that have never experienced that or know that. But check it out. And if you're interested in knowing more about that, message me. But if you know that and you understand that, maybe it'll raise awareness of how important it is to protect your own thoughts and your energy, and also respect the beauty and the energy in the other people that are around you in your life. I'm around constant, amazing people that are always thinking up really great creative ideas, really good stuff, and we just keep building off that. But we also have to realize that we can't let our energy get sucked into something nasty. So, consent, permission, always know, at the end of the day, if you want to say no to something, say no. And if something feels it's really good, you can say yes to. And that changes everything. Changes everything. If you want to say no to AI, if you want to say no to your job, if you want to say no to your teacher, and I've said no to my teachers many times. Most of them have no freaking idea what's really going on. If you want to say no to so many different things that are set up in this world to think that they're the most important things, and they're not. It's okay to say no. And yeah, you'll get some backlash, trust me. I mean, I've lived a lot of backlash. But I'm here. And I can't tell you, I wish I could share with all of you all the things that have happened that are really good, from saying no to certain things that at first felt really scary, and I got shut down by a lot of friends, and I got ostracized, and I got people gossiping about things and getting the wrong idea and all kinds of different things. Financially, I got screwed. No one wanted to buy my paintings. No one really wanted to come to the events. But you know what? In the bigger picture, man, the amazing doors that have opened. So if I can share that piece of hope with you on an individual level, if you're a part of a group or part of some kind of thing that you're not really feeling it, they say a lot of really good things. They're really good about saying the good things, but you gotta look at the fruit, and also look at what you have to sacrifice. With the individual, you don't have to sacrifice anything. You just live your life. You speak your truth. You follow your gut. You don't worry about money. You don't worry about all the bullshit. You don't worry about how society is going to embrace or neglect you. They're all zombies. You want to be a zombie? You want to fit into a zombie community? I want to see everybody, because I know most of you on my Facebook, and I know that each and every single one of you have such an amazing gift. It's very unique. It's very unique. And let all the obstacles of all this other crap go away. And when you express that highest thing in the world, man, that's what's going to make the world a really beautiful place. That's what we need. So I hope that you maybe can understand what I'm talking about tonight. And I hope that it inspires you. Maybe it speaks something to you that, you know, you've been feeling on a level, but most people don't really talk about much. And if I can encourage that in you, that'd be really great. Because I see it. I see it, and I'm waiting. I'm waiting. Because that's the change. Not part of this group thing. Not part of the Mason thing. Not part of any of that other stuff. All right. Peace out. Good night. I'll talk to you guys soon.